Both players at 2-0-1, so technically undefeated, and what a mess of a board state. We're going to catch you up on it. Kevin Jones is up a game with Bant Company. And game 2, he's behind the 8 ball where life points are concerned. Kevin is at 6. But what he has is a Reflector Mage, a Duskwatch Recruiter, and an Eldrazi Displacer. And boy, does he have a lot of lands to go with that Displacer. It looks like he has 11 lands total now and 3 Displacer activations. On the other side for Chris Andersen, he's got a Hedron Crawler and a Knight of the White Orchid in play. That's not as strong here right now. And so despite being on white life points, Kevin appears to have taken control of the situation.
So here's that combo we were talking about earlier.
The Reflector Mage, Eldrazi Displacer combo.
That is obscenely powerful.
Right. Chris Andersen used to have a Knight of the White Orchid and an Eldrazi Displacer in play, but no more.
It takes a very specific card out of Chris Andersen's deck here to not just get time walked every turn.
Well, he can use his own right, because Displacer cannot bounce itself or displace itself. If Chris Andersen had 2 Displacers, he can actually counter this by displacing his own creature.
Right.
But he doesn't have that.
It's a huge mana investment to get started, though, and Kevin has no shortage of mana on his side to keep up.
No, so with all of Chris's creatures in his hand, Kevin's going to be able to make short work of him here, it looks like.
These Displacers look to be a significant upgrade to this Bant Company deck.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of decks start to take on Eldrazi Displacer, whether it's this mono-white Eldrazi deck. Last weekend we saw an 8-1 run by Matthew Tickle with Naya Blink, a deck built around Eldrazi Displacer. The card is undeniably powerful right now.
Most definitely.
So Chris Andersen, he will play Gideon, ally of Zendikar. It's just going to be hard for anything Chris plays to matter in the face of this Eldrazi Displacer.
Yeah, you could make a 2-2, it's just going to die, so the best option is just to make that emblem, but what does it do? We have a 1-2 Hedron Crawler now.
It's going to be a 1-2 tapped Hedron Crawler, probably.
It's even less good.
Yep.
What Chris really wants to get things started, or needs rather, is a Tragic Arrogance.
I mean, won't Kevin just still get to keep the Displacer?
Yeah, but he goes down to 1 creature anyway.
That's a start.
Yeah. I didn't say it. I didn't say that he would win the game if he drew it.
That doesn't even kill the Displacer. Then Kevin would just cast Collected Company. It doesn't even do anything. He needs a lot of sweepers. Plays Sylvan Advocate, plays another land. He attacks Chris Andersen down to 11. And Eldrazi Displacer just taking control of the board. A draw for Chris. Going to try recasting some of these cards.
Maybe Kevin won't notice that he can Reflector Mage this creature when it comes back down.
Okay, we have a removal spell for Kevin's Eldrazi Displacer. Looks like a Stasis Snare from Chris Andersen. Now we get to see if that works. It's going to be... Oh, wow. Kevin's going to use Reflector Mage to tap, to bounce the... Displacer to bounce the Reflector Mage and bounce the Hedron Crawler to Andersen's hand.
Yeah, it just takes the value that was on the table while it was there. Unfortunately, you can't bounce your own creatures with Reflector Mage.
Right. I mean, that would
make this combo even more absurd.
And it's immune to removal. And Knight of the White Orchid from Chris. Counting, yeah. Chris can get into planes with this.
I have 1,000 lands. You have 2,000 lands.
Now Chris has 1,001, so he's closing the gap. Interestingly enough, despite being the monocolor deck, Chris Andersen does not have access to very many colored mana sources for that Eldrazi Displacer.
Yeah, that is another thing in this deck. No matter how hard you try, the Knight of the White Orchid can't find a colorless source. There's no colorless basic land dual lands.
It's a dual land. It's a white colorless dual land.
I mean, that was actually one of the first things I thought when we revealed Wastes and we had fetch lands in Standard. Are we going to be able to fetch for a land that is a Wastes? We have not designed that card just yet.
It's such a narrow card.
They're going to print it inevitably, right?
Wasteful planes.
Yeah. It's really weird, though. It doesn't make a ton of sense to have a land that taps for blue and is a Wastes. Because like the fact that it doesn't do anything. The fact that it is a Wastes makes it unable to be an island, right?
Yeah. No, actually in the rules that doesn't even work. Because the Wastes have no basic land type.
Okay, so we'll just never see that.
Yeah, I think once you give a type, no, you'd have to change the rules.
You could make a land with the type land island that just tapped for colorless. right? Just a non-basic. You could make a non-basic land with a type-blind island. Call it like Wasteful
Island. I don't even know anymore. Okay, maybe. We're gonna go back to the game here.
Good thing that's not my job.
This is where this is where I have to get out the design rule book. For Kevin's side, he did lose his Displacer, but however is recovering with Jace, 2 Sylvan Advocates, and Duskwatch Recruiter. By the way, in the line of other great things you can do with tons of mana, Duskwatch Recruiter doesn't seem half bad.
Yeah, you can find quite a few cards off the top of your decks with that.
But he has to keep care here. There's a lot of mana in play for Chris Andersen. And what happens there is Chris Andersen goes for a tap on end step with Eldrazi Displacer. Kevin Jones uses Bounding Crassus. Well, it's actually going into Kevin's combat. Chris was trying to displace creatures to prevent the attack from being lethal. Kevin uses Bounding Crassus to tap or untap, and that attack